The Met has over 2 million pieces of art. 2 million. If you spent 30 seconds looking at each piece, you'd be here for over a year, nonstop. It's hard for first-time visitors to figure out how to navigate North America's largest museum without getting overwhelmed. So in this video, I'm highlighting 5 masterpieces that are worth the trip. Why these 5? Well, they're visually appealing, they're diverse, and most importantly, they're in different parts of the museum. So you can use this as a guide or as a scavenger hunt and discover more as you explore. All right, let's go in. There's 2 entrances to the Met. The main one is big, it's grand, and it makes for iconic pictures. If it's your first time visiting, it's worth it to get a picture out front. The steps are really beautiful, and during the summer when the fountains are going, it's really nice too. But if you don't need the picture, there's an entrance on 81st Street that's a little bit more quiet. There's very few visitors in that line, so it moves much faster. The museum is closed on Wednesdays, and it's currently not included in any attraction pass. Tickets are pay what you wish for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut residents. If you don't live in the tri-state, then it's $30 for adults. All right, now that we have that out of the way, let's go check out some art. The Temple of Dendur is probably the most popular section at the Met. It's a real Egyptian temple built around 15 BC. Not a replica, not a model, an actual temple in Manhattan. On it, you'll see Egyptian gods like Osiris and real Egyptian hieroglyphs. You'll also see ancient graffiti from European tour guides who would visit Egypt and would go to these temples, and they would write their names in the structure. At the time, they didn't know these temples would wind up in museums hundreds of years later. All of this is included in the temple. How did this temple make its way to New York? Well, in the 60s, Egypt was building the Aswan Dam. It was a huge project, but it was going to flood dozens of temples. So Egypt made a deal. Any country that helps them save these temples will get one. America helps, Egypt keeps their promise, and the temple was shipped to New York and reassembled brick by brick. In 1978, it was set up in this hall with water in front to represent the Nile and next to Central Park to give viewers an experience what it's like to see this temple as if they're in Egypt. And it's striking that it's next to Central Park, a reminder that New York is a melting pot. And no matter where you're from, you can always find something from your hometown in New York City, including ancient Egypt. Washington crossing the Delaware. This painting is 21 feet wide. It's massive. I tried to capture a good angle so you can appreciate the size of this painting in the video, but I don't think it does it justice. This was painted by a German-American painter, Manuel Leutz, and it was created 75 years after the events took place in 1851. Here's the thing about this piece. It's an artist's interpretation of real-life events. And you start to realize it the more you look at this painting. Look at the size of this boat. It's too small. They used cargo boats to cross the river. And look at how Washington is standing in the boat. He would have tipped the entire boat over if he stood like that. In real life, Washington crossed in the dead of night, but this looks like sunrise. And this flag, it wasn't even made at the time of the crossing. And look at the people that are in these boats. They're not soldiers. They're a mixed group of people in America. You see someone here that's Scottish. You can tell by the clothing. There's a person of color behind him. There's a Native American person in the back. There's even this person in the front with this red shirt that could be a woman dressed in men's clothes. This painting is not meant to record history. It's meant to inspire people. It shows the country at a point in time, fighting to become one nation. All these different people, all from different backgrounds, all in the same boat, rowing towards the same goal. That's what makes it special. And that's why it's a centerpiece for the American way. Definitely worth the visit, especially if you have kids studying American history. Art is more than just paintings and sculptures, and this next piece is the perfect example of that. This is the Negroli helmet, and it looks like something out of a superhero movie. It's a parade helmet, and it was made in 1543. 1543, just think about that. This is all handmade from a single piece of steel. No welding, just a hammer and incredible skill. This helmet was donated by JP Morgan, not the bank, but the guy who developed modern banking. He owned thousands of pieces of art, but only one piece of armor. This one. The armor collection at the Met is one of these sections that you can appreciate even if you're not into art or medieval history, because it's just great craftsmanship that's insane and we rarely get to see it these days. Plus, what kid doesn't think knights and swords are cool? Some would consider this next piece to be one of the top 10 most important pieces of African art in the world. It's the Benin Ivory Mask, created in the 16th century in the Kingdom of Benin, which was in West Africa, specifically in the southern part of the country now known as Nigeria. The mask was made by the king to honor his mother, Queen Mother, who led troops into battle and was a prominent advisor to her son. Ivory was used to represent purity and wealth, and this mask was created to be a powerful symbol, and it's still found on Nigerian currency today. But as powerful as it is, it's a very small object. It's only 9 inches tall. But there's still so much work in the details. There's iron that's used for the eyes to give them a strong, focused look. And the crown is meant to represent faces of bearded Portuguese that's alternating with mudfish that are also around the collar. It's a little hard to make out the faces, but that's what all the text says. The point is that this piece isn't just art, it's history, it's politics, it's power. In staring at it, you can't help but think, why is it here? This mask was taken during a British raid in 1897, along with thousands of other artifacts. There's a matching version of this mask in the British Museum, and Nigeria has been asking for this piece along with many others for decades. So when you're walking through this gallery, you're not just looking at ancient history, it's current history. And that's why I'd recommend visiting this section, because it may change before your next visit. Rembrandt is known as one of the greatest painters of all time, but I describe him to my kids as the selfie king. He painted about 100 selfies during his lifetime, before cameras, before smartphones, before Instagram filters. And I think the most famous is this one. He painted this in 1860 when he was 54 years old. At that time, he'd lost his wife, he'd lost a child, and he'd gone bankrupt. But he painted what he saw in the mirror. The wrinkles, the tired eyes, the honest truth. Not a younger version with hope and joy, or a playful version of himself wearing funny hats. It was just him, Rembrandt, aged 54. These paintings hold stories and emotions. It's really hard to describe and show them in a video, but when you see them, you can feel it. I guess that's why we still admire these paintings 350 years later. This gallery has lots of names of paintings that you've heard or seen before, but when you see them in person, it just feels different. And if you visit on a less crowded day, you can even catch artists recreating some of these masterpieces. All right, so that's 5 highlights out of 2 million. If you just do these 5 pieces, you can get through the Met in about an hour. So if you give yourself 2 hours to explore, that's more than enough time to discover more things. And if you're the type of visitor who's dying to eat a New York hot dog during your trip, the Hot Dog King is right outside. And the Met is right next door to Central Park, so it makes sense to explore Central Park after your visit. If you're looking for a few places to check out, take a look at this video next, where I highlight movie scenes filmed in the park. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.